I'm X,
I'm Dixon.
and this is Academy Green Room. It's a special day today. Firstly, because I have on makeup. And if I have on makeup, that means it's a special day today.
You know it's something real.
You know it's something real.
Yeah.
It's also a special day because I'm here with an Oscar nominee. Oscar nominated for Best Song, Singer, Vocal Arranger, Producer, Musician, and now Oscar nominee for Best Song for Be Alive, co-written and sung by none other than Queen Bee, Beyonce. Dixon, welcome, man. Peace. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man.
How you
Thanks
feeling,
for having
fam?
me. I'm feeling good, man. You know, it's the big weekend.
I just really want to know your story, man. How did you get here? And I don't mean did you get a Lyft or did you get an Uber here or did Kenny back there, the homie, drive you here? How did you get here?
I mean, just a lot of faith and patience, honestly. I can't really take too much credit for my own talents. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like those are a gift from God, but patience is something you have to learn, and faith is something you have to practice. So
That's real.
I've done both of those things, and so I think it's a good time for those things to start working.
All right, we better start unpacking some of this stuff,
Okay.
right? You're going to give me some stuff and I'm going to throw it right back to you. So
Okay.
you said patience. Tell me about something you went through that gave you patience to get to this moment. Because I don't want people to just see Dixon, this amazing producer, and you're at the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
It didn't just happen this way. Like, some things happen along the way to get you here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thing that happened was I had to be in the background for a while.
How did that feel?
I mean, it felt great because I was feeding my family and taking care of,
Yeah.
of myself, and you know, I don't ever complain about those moments because they really shaped me and made me the professional, you know, that I am.
Yeah.
But there were days. I mean, to be quite honest, I signed a record deal back in 2019, and I was still on the road as a background singer.
Yeah.
So those two worlds happening at the same time, you know, working on my own solo projects and then supporting artists who were ahead of me,
Right.
you know, in their careers. Sometimes that dichotomy was a struggle, because you believe in yourself and you want people to see what you're doing as a solo artist, but it's like it hasn't really taken off there yet.
Right.
So you gotta support, and I really don't sign up to do things that I don't fully believe in. And so the artists that I've been fortunate to work with in a more background capacity, I believe in their work, and I've always been in service to what they do. And so it worked out for me because that patience coupled with, you know, a bit of humility made me who I am.
How'd you get to that space where you were, you know, doing, you know, background vocals for these different artists? And who are some of these artists?
I started off with Vic Mensa, who's a label mate of mine now and one of my really close friends. I started off with him, and that was kind of on a whim. I met him through Pharrell.
Yeah.
And Pharrell was like, y'all need to know each other. And he put out this project called Autobiography. And I called and I was like, do you got anybody singing background, you know, with you on the road? And
Yeah.
it really was just, I was trying to get out there,
Right.
you know? And he didn't. And so I just kind of showed up to rehearsal and kind of had my little rig going. And he walked in and it was just like, you know, a match. And so I toured with him for a while. And through that, I met Chance.
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper.
Y'all have a dope collaboration
We
with
do.
Nicki Minaj as
Yeah.
well. You want to talk about that too?
Yeah, I mean, I started working with Chance in the studio. I didn't plan to tour with him. And honestly, the real story is around 2019, my father had passed away in June.
My
And
condolences.
thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I knew I had spent all my money to bury my father, basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need work. And so luckily the timing was right. He called me to do one song, just some vocal arrangement. And he loved it so much that they invited me to Chicago to work on the album.
Wow.
And so my plan was to literally work. He has an incredible organization called Social Works. I was gonna work the summer camp during the day to make money.
Wow.
And at night work on the album.
And we're talking about less than 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I was and I was fine with. I told my girlfriend, I was like, listen, whatever I got to do to make sure the lights is on. I'll work the summer camp, be with the kids during the day, and then I'll, night time it at the studio and just hope I don't pass out at work the next morning.
Right.
And it just kind of happened that he wanted to tour. And so instead of doing the summer camp, I went from the studio to just being on the road. I think my first show with him was like in London somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was in the studio. I get the call. I was like, do you want to go? And I was literally on a plane to London to sing back. And the rest has kind of been, history with him.
So how did you get to the point from almost working a summer camp, being on the road in London with Chance, doing stuff with Vic Mensa, and then getting to the point where you're producing and co-writing with Beyonce, one of the biggest artists of all time?
It's really, man, I can't really say it's like a secret to this. It's just you gotta really believe in what you do and then commit to being in service to it.
Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time, like I'm in service to music. So when I get called to do something, I'm fully 100% in, like, sign me up. And that's, obviously if we say yes to the opportunity, I try not to take too many things on at one time because my manager who's off camera will tell you I tend to do that. But when I'm in, I'm fully in. And so I've just been in service. And I made up in my mind during the pandemic, I was like, I'm just going to keep submitting songs to B and see what happens. And so I would write something and I'd be like, okay, that feels good for her. So I would just, send it off. And I didn't think she had heard anything that
I was going to ask you,
done.
did you ever get any feedback?
Not really.
Anything?
Not really. Not until we got the call for the movie. And I was like, oh, she's heard things
right.
and thinks I'm a good candidate for, writing this song. And so immediately I just dove in and we're here.
Did you bug out when you got the call?
I freaked out a bit. I take what I do seriously, but then you get some calls and it's like you just kind of gotta laugh about it. Like, really?
Right.
Like,
it's almost like unbelievable.
It's like, super unbelievable.
Surreal.
Yeah. But that was definitely one of those moments where I had to pinch myself.
And what was the process like? Like, what was that process of now you've gotten a call from Beyonce's camp and you guys are actually sitting down to do the songwriting for you to produce the record. What is that like?
The process was quick, to be honest. We didn't have much time to get it, in. So I came here to LA and day one I just did a demo.
So you came up, like, did they talk about the concept? Like, I want to know.
I hadn't really seen much of the movie.
Okay, and did they tell you about the movie?
I knew about the story. So I knew about
the
Serena and Venus.
Right.
And their father and how much of a role he played in their lives.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer and that's when everything started to hit me because if you know Beyonce's story, she also had a father who was very instrumental
strong black father
in her life.
That's right.
I myself had a very strong father in my life.
You mentioned him off camera before we even started.
Yeah. So he's quite instrumental in my life and how I approach my life. I take a lot of what he taught me with me on a daily basis. And so I knew this part of the story and I was like, well, this part will be the easiest part to write.
Yeah.
Now we just have to make something that is captivating enough for the directors of the film and the
and
studio.
To feel like it should be a part of a movie.
Yeah. And so it really just started with guitars, me sitting down on the couch and just plucking through like the first initial, verses. I recorded the demo. I want to say it took me about like 2 or 3 hours. And I felt good. I was gonna bounce it out, take it home, listen to it, make my own notes. And then I see around the studio some commotion happening. And I'm like, oh my God.
Now, what was this commotion?
Well, she came to the studio while I was working.
Right.
And I wasn't quite done with the record. looking back on it, I was more done than I thought I was.
Yeah.
But as creatives, a lot of times we get in our head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you work on it forever. Let's talk about it. Let's
I'll
call
be
it
there.
in.
I'll
Yeah,
be
somebody
there
got to
forever.
snatch the record at you.
Yes.
Right?
Kenny often is like, no, you're going to release this version.
Right.
But no, she came while I was working on it. And I played it for her, but I didn't look at her the whole time that I was playing
Well,
it
that's
for her.
awkward too when you're
Yeah.
playing music for somebody to be the creator of it. I've been
Yeah.
on the other side, so
Yeah.
I've been the person in the room so many times working at Spotify, working at record labels,
Yeah.
and I'm in there listening to the music, and the artist is there, and I'm like, damn, this is awkward for both of us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
like, how hard do I nod my head, or
Right.
like, do I look at them while I'm listening to it? So it's
Yeah.
usually this. You kind of
No,
Back
I
around a
didn't
little
turn
bit.
that chair around one time. I was also very nervous that I would, because I hadn't bounced the song out of Pro Tools yet. So I was nervous I was going to press the wrong button
Right.
if I like made any
Yeah,
sudden
yeah.
movements. It wasn't my personal gear either, so I didn't feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
So I didn't move. And when I turned around, she had a big smile on her face. And she immediately came out the gate giving me notes and everything else. So we just like first demo down, and she gave her notes and then took the record with her and did her own rewrites and reproductions. And then I got it back. And I mean, when I got it back, it was so magical. But then, you know, I was encouraged to keep digging and keep carving at it to make
Yeah.
sure that it was what I wanted also. You know, I think that's what's really special about working with Beyonce. Honestly, people don't talk enough about who she is, like as a songwriter and a producer. But I also think it's very generous of her to allow me to keep carving at it when she's
Yeah.
so good at what she does. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's, you know, we have these legacy artists and we hear all these stories about, you know, how tough it is to work with them
Right.
and for them. But I
they
think
won't bend or they
Yeah.
won't accept like feedback or collaboration.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, I got it from here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. But I think B is a creative, honestly, and she respects other creatives. And I think that's what makes her music so magical,
Right.
is that she's allowing people to be themselves within her world.
So timely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the hallmarks of her career up to this point is collaboration, and that's
Yeah.
what keeps her relevant. 'Cause
She's
she
so
keeps-
good at it.
She's looking for the next person. We got a
Yeah.
question from the audience I want to go to.
Cool.
They asked, is this the most nervous you've ever been to work with an artist?
Probably so. I think, yeah, I think this was the most nervous I've been. Just because with her, you want to get it like really, really right.
Yeah.
And this is a person, I take that back. It's her and Pharrell might have been like the
I
most.
can see that.
Because with them, obviously, they're very busy people, and you don't want to ever feel like you're wasting their
Mhm.
time. And so, yes, I was extremely nervous.
And audience, keep questions coming. You
Yeah.
can ask whatever you want. This is a conversation.
Yeah.
Me and Dixon kicking, and I'm just going to keep on digging
Yeah.
into this story. So she let you keep tweaking with it, keep pulling from it. When did you know this is it? This is the version.
Yeah. So I played around with many versions of this song, and I think the moment I knew that it was the right one, I got a note from her team that said she might be interested in going back a couple versions to the original one.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I've done all these tweaks, and this is like just a message for creatives,
Mhm.
honestly. Sometimes your original version is the version.
It's the one.
You know, and I know I can already see Kenny's face off to the side. I know he's like, for real? That's how you feel? But sometimes your original version is the version. That's what happened with this record. I think the intention of the original demo, it was so straightforward and straight ahead
Mhm.
that anytime we tried to over embellish something, it did too much.
Yeah.
So that's a message for creatives. Sometimes you got it on the first one, and don't
And trust
overthink it. Yeah, trust your instinct. And then, you know, when you get confirmation from somebody like B
Right.
that your instinct was right, then, you know,
You're like, okay.
you kind of feel good.
You're
about
like,
it.
see, I
Yeah,
told you,
yeah.
Kenny. All right, we got another question from the audience. You work with the Queen. Who do you want to work with next? Can it get any better?
There's not really a better singer. So
Right.
there's that.
There's that.
But there are plenty of artists I want to work with.
Yeah.
I really want to work with Kendrick. I think
Yeah.
I want to do something really theatrical
Mhm.
with Kendrick because I feel like he's such a great performer, obviously, but the way he delivers things is really special. And I
Yeah.
think that he has so many different versions of himself as an artist, and I want to tap into this more theatrical side of
Mhm.
Kendrick. Obviously, Rihanna is high on the list.
Right.
I think we all just want music from her, honestly.
We all do. Can we get this dancehall album?
Yo,
please?
can we get
Just
something?
Something. Anything.
Yeah, Rihanna's good is a big one on the list. There's a lot of new artists too that I really, really love. I'm a new artist myself,
Right.
so I champion new artists. I love Smino.
Smino's dope.
I think Smino's a prolific writer and performer. I really, really love Lucky Day. I think he's
Me too.
I
I
think
talk
he's
about
one of the
Lucky Day
best
all the
writers.
time.
He's one of the best writers writing songs right now.
Loving the new album.
I do love the new
It's
album.
great.
I every time I hear, because as a writer I get to hear demos a
Right.
lot. Every time I hear a Lucky demo, I'm like, this man is just so prolific. So I love Lucky.
Yeah.
I hope one day we get to work together and do some songs together. I love her. Obviously, what a gift, what a talent. So the new artists get a lot of love too. Drake is big on my list too because I feel like that's another artist who has many versions of himself.
Right.
I
He can do almost any style.
He really can, and Drake also can really sing. I don't care what anybody says. I think
I'm not mad at it.
I love singing Drake. Just as much as I love rapping Drake. So that would be really cool to work with him for sure.
Do you feel like you made it?
I tend to not think about it often. Like I said, this is my job, and like, what a crazy job to have. You get to wake up every morning and do exactly what you love doing. There's little things inside the job that give you certain stresses and things like that. But
And by definition of a job, those things are going to be there.
Yeah, but what a crazy life I get to live as a musician and a producer, and I get paid for it, and I can live the way I've always dreamed living. So I don't think about making it. I think making it for me is just being able to do what you love.
Yeah.
Freely. And a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And so I'm
true.
extremely grateful every day that I get to do this because a lot of people don't get to do it. And there's a lot of people that are high up at their jobs, but they're not doing what they love.
That's right.
But they do it because they have to provide and they have to make, life happen for themselves. I'm just one of the lucky ones that get to do it. And it's exactly what I want to do.
It sounds like you're living in the moment.
Oh yeah, every day. Every day is a
How'd you
whirlwind.
get to a place in your life where you could just live in a moment like that?
I think in 2019, I lost a lot of relatives. I lost my father, my grandfather,
Sorry to
my
hear
brother, and my sister,
I got
all
it.
in 1 year. And I think that's when I was like, nah, if I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live now because I don't want any regrets. And I remember my father was diagnosed with cancer like 3 years before he passed. So I got to spend 3 years like literally just right next to him.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a guy who accomplished quite a bit in his time on the earth. But there were still moments that I could feel that he had regret. And he would constantly remind me like, son, if you're going to do something, don't do it with any regrets. Like, just go for it and live as big and as bold as you can, and don't cower for anybody telling you can't do that.
That's right.
So that, like, watching him go through that, I kind of just decided for myself, I'm gonna do this.
Basically, you're gonna live while you're here.
Got to. There's no other way to do it. Like, money is a tool. It comes and it goes.
That's right.
But your life is the most valuable thing that you have, so you got to live it.
I tell people the money will come.
Oh, yeah.
Go after what you love. Make sure you're eating every day, but the money will come. It'll all come together. I got a question from a young songwriter. What's something you wish someone told you at the beginning of your career?
As a songwriter, I wish someone would have told me how valuable learning how to produce was
Mm.
early on in my career. I always was making my own beats, but I
Mhm.
think if you're a really good songwriter and people love what you do, they're gonna
Yeah.
call you in the room to do just that.
Mhm.
And what ends up happening in this business is that songwriters get stuck in a cadence of just being songwriters.
Right.
But if
And not
you-
being able to shape the whole
Yep.
sound of the
and
song.
in a lot of ways, they are shaping the whole sound of the song, but
Right.
their title makes them only one piece of it.
Right.
So I think I wish someone had told me earlier in my life that I could demand, because I'm shaping the sound of the song vocally,
Right.
that I could become a vocal producer.
Yeah.
And production, you obviously know the industry works like this. The songwriters, they get paid later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's
through the publishing.
through the publishing.
That's right.
But producers get paid up front.
That's right.
Vocal producers get paid up front. So if you're a great songwriter and you can sing and you're creating and shaping these worlds with your melodies, the best thing I could tell you is demand production. And I know it's not a popular take, but it's a hot take from me.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have told me when I
great
was
advice.
younger that I could demand production credits for what I was doing.
All right, so I'm a breakfast person, and the listeners out there know I'm big with breakfast. No matter what time my day starts,
Listen,
my first
I'm the same
meal,
way. First meal.
I knew it. I knew it as soon as I saw you.
Breakfast. We just had it.
See, you already know.
Like,
so
I don't care.
So I already know the answer to this. But the question is, does Dixon eat French toast? Because I do have a fire recipe.
Yes, I do eat French toast more than I would like to admit.
I had some this morning.
I love French toast. I do not make great French toast.
I got you.
My girlfriend
hers though.
is out of control with
so
the
you
French
good
toast.
then?
Yeah. She's
You don't need me.
you should just come over and then
Oh,
I'll
please?
taste everybody's French toast.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's set that up. I'm
Yes,
coming
sir.
through. Kenny has my contact
Let's
info.
go.
I'm coming through. I'm
and Kenny
making
likes French toast too.
Oh, I know Kenny like French. Kenny looked like he liked French
Oh
toast.
my God.
That's
No,
the
we
homie.
love
That's
breakfast.
it.
We love breakfast.
What does success look like to you?
Success, it's a very nuanced thing.
Yeah.
Because on most days you just feel like you're working with your head down.
Yeah.
Like that's what success feels like to me. Getting the call and like people wanting me around to do the thing that I've been called to do.
You being thought of.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what it feels like to me. Like every time I get a call or my management or my assistant gets a call and they're like, they want to work with you, that feels like success to me.
Yeah.
Which is a different approach. Like I have a lot of friends in this business that look at success in a different way. But I think it's not just about being in demand. I think people by virtue of learning who you are as a creative, when they continue to call you to show up for things, that's success for me. Obviously, the awards and everything are a nice added bonus, but at the end of the day, I got in this business to work.
Yeah.
So when my phone is ringing, I feel successful.
Yeah, because one thing set up the next thing.
Yes.
And it shows you that you're going to keep working. It's
Yes.
a reminder that I'm going to keep working.
That this is my forever
Right.
career. And I don't mind taking breaks, but I rarely take them because I love the work.
Yeah.
And that's success for me, just being constantly able to work. When I look at artists who I'm obsessed with and that I love, they're constantly doing something.
Yeah.
And they've learned how to pivot and, create a world for themselves where they can keep working. And that's success for me.
Now, we all need balance.
Yes.
And that's something I'm personally working on, that work-life balance. And
it's hard.
earlier, you mentioned that, you don't say yes to everything. That
I don't.
If you're going to work on something, you're going to put your all into it. It's going to get your focus. How do you know what to say no to?
Well, not to be too deep, but I generally pray
Let's
about
get out
things.
as deep as we need to.
Yeah, I generally pray about things.
Yeah, I do too.
Before, I go into anything, whether it's a deal or it's a song, or whether it's a block of time that I have to give up to do something else.
Yeah.
I honestly, pray and then I seek guidance. So, I've been very fortunate. I worked most of my career by myself. But these days, I have a team of people who, one person on my team, my manager Kenny, has been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
So I always seek guidance there. First and foremost, I have a lawyer who's incredible. So I seek guidance on whether I'm going to get stuck
Right.
in something
Yeah.
or whether we can move,
Yeah, you can pivot.
And then my assistant, man, is one of the most creative people I've ever worked with. And he just always has sound advice about like my spirit. Like he's like, what tax is it going to take on your spirit?
I love that question.
Yeah. And so he's usually the third person I talk to. And he's like, do you really want to do this? Or do you feel like you're going to be missing out? You know, because that
Right.
FOMO is very real.
Yeah.
But you always have to take into consideration the tax something is going to take on your soul and your spirit. Talking with my wise counsel, you know, that's how I make decisions on things. I have tried a lot, especially in the last year, because things have just been really busy, to not make decisions completely on my own.
Yeah.
That will derail something that might be happening internally with my team. Like I
Right.
usually try to pick up the phone and call somebody and be like, hey, this is what's on the table. What should we do? Or if Kenny calls me and like, we got this thing, I'll talk to him about what he thinks.
Yeah.
And then I'll pick up the phone and call Khalil and he'll be like, I don't know if that's for the brand. You know, like, so we have, it's a nice working balance. And I just love that my team is able to communicate with each other effectively, because
To all work together towards
Man,
the same thing.
it gets tough when those lines of communication aren't good, or they start to get blurred. You
Yeah.
know? So
Another audience question. He said Kendrick is theatrical. Would you do a musical with Kendrick?
yes, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick, are
Let
you
me
out
talk to
there?
you. Whatever y'all are trying to do as a musical, I'm fully there for it. I started my music career as a songwriter and producer for a musical theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lot of famous alumni from the Youth Ensemble of Atlanta. But I started there. My first gig as a producer was writing, I think it was 25 or 30 original songs for stage. For a 2-hour-long musical that debuted in Atlanta. And so I grew up in theater.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm able to pick that out from Kendrick. I'm like, oh my God,
You can see it.
I can see it. So Kendrick, hi, I'm Dixon.
That's Dixon, Kendrick.
Hello, I'm Oscar nominated.
Yeah.
If that counts for anything.
I think it does.
But yeah, I would love to do a musical with Kendrick. There's plenty of artists that I feel like would be really great in a musical setting. And Kendrick also sings too.
Right.
He has a very special tone in his singing voice, but I wouldn't just use him as a rapper.
Right.
You know, I would have to use
You'd
all.
really tap into all of those different facets of his artistry.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple of fun questions before I let you out of here, Dixon. What do you say, and we're talking Oscars, celebration of movies, like we focus on the awards when we go to Oscars, and
Yeah.
rightfully so, but it's really a celebration of film.
Yeah.
What is your favorite film soundtrack of all time? Or you can name off a couple.
Okay, cool. I was about to say.
Yeah, I know that's
I
hard.
can't really do.
Yeah. Name off a couple.
I really love School Days.
EU.
Yeah, it's
The Butt.
different. It's really different, and there's like the singles from School Days, right? But the stuff that Dr. Bill Lee was doing,
Yeah.
like just in the score, I
Spike
was
Lee's father,
yeah,
who's a
Spike Lee's
composer.
father, composer, genius musician.
Yeah.
The stuff that he was doing in the score was really, really special. Like the opening, the wake up scene. It's the opening scene on the soundtrack, but it's the last scene in the film.
Yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard in film. So that's School Days. And then one that doesn't get talked about. Both of mine are Spike Lee, by the way.
What do you say?
Bamboozled.
Bamboozled. Yeah, the Mau Mau's.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Man.
that Mau Mau song.
I mean,
It's crazy.
I
Black
mean,
is black.
Erica Badu
Yeah.
does Hollywood, the Shaka Khan cover.
Yeah.
Like, it's a crazy soundtrack, but then to watch the film and see it in real time. Also, one of my really close friends who I grew up in theater with, his father was in the film Bamboozled, Thomas Bird Jefferson, who passed away.
Oh,
like 2
yeah.
years
Rest
ago.
in power.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Amazing actor.
Amazing. Set it off.
Man, everything.
Everything. He always stole the show.
Yes.
Whenever
He's
came on screen.
An incredible actor.
You believed him.
I believe everything he
Yes.
says, even in life and as like meeting him in person.
I'm a little jealous. of
Like, just an incredible actor. Also, Savion Glover is in Bamboozle, and
Yeah.
like the music he's creating with his feet alone is just
Yeah.
like, It's insane. So those are two films whose soundtrack means a lot to me.
Those are great choices.
Also, honorable mention, Waiting to Exhale, probably
written and produced by Babyface.
Probably a soundtrack with the most singles outside of Car Wash, which is Rolls Royce.
Yes.
My grandfather worked on Car Wash as a DP.
What?
And cinematographer. So, those two are my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Because those are soundtracks that have like the most singles.
You could just put them on.
Yeah, and everybody knows the songs, which is crazy. I was just listening to the Car Wash soundtrack the other day. I was like, man, this thing had like 5 or 6 singles off of it.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Which means the movie was a hit, no matter what the industry says.
Right.
Like the movie was a hit. Like people
and
love that
definitely
music.
a culture bearer. You know what I mean?
1000%.
Like
1000%.
something that impacted and shaped the culture.
Yeah.
What's the first album that you paid for with your money, or that you just had to have for yourself?
You're gonna freak out when I say this.
Okay.
The first album I ever bought, my mom had this like CD subscription thing back in the day.
Like the RCA Columbia joint?
Sure did. And the first album I ever received in the mail was Destiny's Child, The Writings on the Wall. Yeah.
I mean, the writing was on the wall.
Nah, it's kind of crazy.
I
think about it all the time.
Pretty nuts. Did you tell Beyonce that?
I haven't. I told Kelly that one time. I was like, the first album I ever bought with my own money was The Writings on the Wall. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm nearly speechless from that.
Yeah. My mom, I asked my mom the other day if she remembered the CD subscription because I was obsessed with it. I was like,
let's get like
order.
What, 10 or 12?
Man.
Yeah, like a month.
Like what was crazy about this one is that it was like I got, my subscription was a little smaller because I didn't have that much money.
Right.
But I would get like a CD every month.
That's
good. The first one in the
first one that ever came.
The Writings on the Wall.
I mean, I think on that note, you got to end it on that. Dixon,
right, bro.
Congratulations. So God bless you.
Thank you, man.
I wish
Likewise.
you all the best. And I'm going to see you Sunday. And then we're going to get up for that French toast.
Oh, yeah, we got to. French toast.
Done.
Good.
Yo, peace.
Peace, bro.